Welcome to the Civic Action Podcast, the voice of the next generation. My name is Leah Quintana. I'll be your host today, and we're here with the founder of Virtutem Populo, Maurits. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. I mean, it's funny. I usually sit in that chair, but I know today we're doing things a little bit differently, and I'm glad to be here.
Oh, well, welcome. Can you start by telling us a bit about yourself and how you became involved with civic involvement?
For sure. So, I mean, I was born in the Netherlands to Cuban parents. I moved to Miami in 2015. Not really caring about civics, not really, understanding it. I mean, I was 8, and then, I went to middle school. I went to Miami Lakes Middle School, and there I joined my middle school teachers at the time. She had a legal studies program, so I joined my middle school's legal studies program with Mrs. De Yarza, and that's when I really started getting into civics. And I actually started getting more involved here in this building right now, which we're in the town of Miami Lakes, their government center. And I started getting involved by working with the mayor and the town council to actually pass 2 ordinances. So, my classmates and I, we saw that there were some issues in Miami Lakes going on, one about flooding, one about infrastructure and the way apartments were being built next to schools. It was a safety issue. And my friends were like, we got to do something about it. So we went to the mayor at the time, we went to the vice mayor at the time, to the council members, and we actually worked with the city attorney and the city planner, and we wrote 2 laws that were passed unanimously by the town council, which I'm very proud of. And when I did that, I realized, wow, young people can make a difference. We can get involved in government. And that's when, I decided to get more involved civics, not only because I wanted to make a difference, but because I wanted other students to also be able to make a difference.
So can you tell us how you came to establish Virtutem Populo, and what does the name mean?
For sure. So Virtutem Populo is Latin for power to the people. I started it when I was the end of my freshman year in high school. And it was just me. It was a passion project I started at my school to help other students in my school become more civically engaged. And that's how it just kind of started. And then from there, we became a Florida corporation not-for-profit. And then eventually we became a nonprofit 501c3 organization through the IRS, which means that we don't have to pay taxes. We're an official tax-exempt organization. And then we just started getting people involved. And, it grew from just a small passion project, with just me. And then now we have a full team. We have our board of directors. We have a team of about 10 students who drive everything. Maybe we're 100% student-led, from our events like the Civic Action Podcast to our gala, which is tomorrow. Well, by the time the audience gets it, it won't be tomorrow anymore. But, today we're recording it on May 29th. Our gala's tomorrow, May 30th. All of these events are 100% run by myself and an amazing group of students. So that's, how we kind of got it up and running. And now we're in full swing, and we've raised over $40,000 for civic education, and we've reached over almost 3,000 students, which is really exciting.
It's very cool how you guys organize it all by yourselves.
Thank you, yeah.
Can you elaborate a little on the mission of Virtutem Populo, and how do you envision its impact on the youth of Miami-Dade County?
I think that's a great question. So our mission is to create a more civically minded and engaged society through programming, advocacy, and education. Those are our 3 branches. So under programming, you'll have things like our Miami-Dade Youth Governance Day program, which we just launched this year for the first year, where we're having high school students take over as mayor for the day in as many cities as possible. So this year it's going to be on June 7th. We have 13 cities participating, and in those 13 cities, on June 7th, there's going to be a high schooler that's going to be the mayor of those 13 cities, which I'm, that's one of my favorites, I think. I think that's pretty cool. So programming is things like that. And you have education, which are a lot of the educational events we do. We have our Constitution Day event, which we host here in Miami Lakes, where we bring together middle schoolers. We just did it for the 2nd year in September. We're going to do it for the 3rd time now in September this year for Constitution Day. And we've been together over 100 middle schoolers to learn about the U.S. Constitution. And then you also have our advocacy branch, which is all about working with government to advocate for policies that help students get involved. So we launched the Florida Student School Board Member Initiative, which is an advocacy program aiming to get student representatives on every single school board in Florida. Currently, only 5 school boards in Florida have a student representative on the school board, but we're trying to change that and make sure a student is on every single school board, all 67. So, that's a little bit more about our mission. How do I envision it for Miami-Dade County? I mean, Miami-Dade County is huge, so we're constantly doing what we can to spread and expand as much as possible and trying to reach as many students while still staying authentically student-led and staying true to our mission. So, I hope that I feel like we're making a difference, but there's definitely room to grow and, reach more students, especially down south. But I'm really excited because in some of these upcoming programs, we've had an increased amount of students participating from like the Palmetto Bay, the Homestead area. So I think, we're growing and we're expanding as much as we can.
What are some of the key programs and initiatives that Virtutem Populo is currently running?
So I touched on 3 of them. I think probably our, best run is our Civics Bowl, which we host every year. We have high schoolers compete against each other in a civics game show, just how like you guys would watch on TV Jeopardy or Family Feud. It's like that, but it's all about civics. So we've done it already 2 years. We've done it 2 years already. And we've had over the past 2 years, probably close to 20 schools participate. And we come together to a grand finale at Miami-Dade College where, they're on stage with their buzzers and we have a host and we have a huge audience and they're like buzzing in and answering questions. So that's probably, one of my favorite programs we run.
What are some of the challenges you faced in promoting civic engagement among youth, and how have you overcome them?
I feel like the top challenge is I think there's 2 top challenges. One is getting students involved. A lot of students, civics doesn't necessarily sound fun to them, which I understand. Especially politics today, it's very polarizing, intimidating, and it's not fun. But I think it's making people understand that it's important because it's what our country runs on. And especially now more than ever, I think our country needs civically engaged students. Because when you look at the average age of a U.S. senator or of these presidents, I mean, now in November we have 2 presidents up for election, and both of them are in their late 70s and early 80s. So trying to get those young students involved. So maybe one day we'll have a president again, like JFK, who started when he was super young. Those younger presidents, and we kind of, see our generation being represented more. I mean, right before you, I just had on the show the youngest elected official in Miami-Dade County ever, Councilman Brian Calvo. He's a councilman for the state of Hialeah, and he's only 26. So, it's engaging students. And the second main issue, I think, it's getting adults to listen. Oftentimes, adults don't really, they underestimate the ability students have to make a difference. So whenever I speak to adults, and I've had a few opportunities to give like speeches and address university professors and university staff, and I always tell them, if a student knocks on your door, just open, listen to what they have to say, and if you can be that person to them that helps them make a difference, then you're truly changing lives. So I guess to sum it up, one, it's getting students involved, and the second challenge is getting adults on board with helping students, become more active in their communities.
I agree. I met Brian Calvo. He came to my school, and I can
awesome.
Definitely agree. That man is awesome.
Yeah,
super cool.
Very cool.
Can you mention any partnerships or collaborations that have been particularly beneficial to your organization?
For sure. I mean, look at where we are now. For our audience watching who don't know, we film our Civic Action podcast out of Miami Lakes Town Hall, out of the mayor's office. So right now, I mean, Leah, she just walked in for the first time. What do you think, Leah?
I thought it was super cool. I mean, I didn't expect it. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't to be sitting right in front of the mayor's desk.
Yeah, so it's really neat. So I think this is an incredible partnership, the one we have with the city of Miami Lakes, the town of Miami Lakes, who are always supporting us in the events. Also, we have a great partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, who helps us produce the podcast. But outside of that, I mean, I would definitely say our top partners over the last almost 3 years of Virtutem Populo have definitely been Miami-Dade College, its Institute of Civic Engagement and Democracy. So Miami-Dade College and its Institute of Civic Engagement have helped us, host all of our events. Whenever we need Miami-Dade College to host, they've always, especially the North Campus, they've welcomed us with open arms. We host our gala there. We host our Civics Bowl there. And I know if we ever need them for anything, they're always there. But definitely our top partner has been EdFed, which is the Educational Federal Credit Union, which is the official bank or credit union for students in Miami-Dade County. They've been our top sponsors from sponsoring our Civics Bowl to also sponsoring our gala. They've just been there for us, and whenever we need them, they're there. So those are definitely the top partners. But we've had some incredible organizations and companies come out to support. Probably the coolest one, which when I got this sponsorship, I was almost in shock. I'm like, this is so cool. I can't believe I got this company to work with us. It was Coca-Cola.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it was really cool. We had our basketball game. Every year we organize a basketball game between Hialeah and Miami Lakes, between the mayors. It's called the Hialeah versus Miami Lakes basketball game. And we have the mayors play basketball to raise money. So in 2022 or 2023, we did it to raise money for in 2022 we did it to raise money for a breast cancer organization, and in 2023 last November we raised money for Virtutem Populo for us to be able to continue doing our mission. We raised almost $8,000, and one of our sponsors was Coca-Cola Florida, who came out and gave free Coke to everybody at the basketball game, and they supported us. They were title sponsors. We had their logo on our jerseys, so it was definitely incredible being able to work with them. But I feel like the community has really supported the work we do.
And do you guys plan on expanding beyond Miami-Dade County?
Yes, so we definitely want to grow. If there's any students watching from anywhere in Florida, especially with our student advisor, student member of the school board initiative, we're trying to get organizers and students to help in all of Florida's 67 counties. So that would be our first step in expanding. It's through that program. We want to reach as many school boards as possible and advocate to them for them to add a student on their school board. So that would be our first step. But even beyond there, I mean, our heart is in Miami, and I think it always will be. I'll be graduating high school in a year, and I hope to go away for college. And that doesn't mean that the work in Miami has to stop. I'm sure incredible students like maybe Leah, will be there to take over. But yeah, maybe wherever I go, I could take some of Virtutem Populo with me and keep it growing there.
Who knows? Maybe one day I'll be sitting in that chair.
Very true. Very true.
So, about you now. What personally motivates you to keep pushing forward with this work, especially given the challenges?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it does get overwhelming. I mean, on top of Virtutem Populo, I'm involved in so many other ways. I'm the incoming student advisor to the school board of Miami-Dade County, which I'm really excited about, and I'm really honored to be able to serve our students, the students of Miami-Dade in that capacity. But I'm also a student first. So I go to school every day, or most days. But no, I'm kidding. I think I have pretty good attendance, which I'm proud about because, I try to not miss. I think I've only missed 2 school days all year,
Wow.
which is pretty good, like unexcused absences. But yeah, I'm a student first, so I have 8 classes, plus classes that I take during the summer and after school, like dual enrollments with Miami-Dade and FIU. I've taken AP classes on Florida Virtual School as well. So yeah, it can get to be a lot, especially in May. It was crazy with AP testing, and I knew I had the gala coming up and Youth Governance Day next week. So being able to manage that while still, preparing for my AP tests was rough. But I guess what keeps me going is not only the incredible team I have, which they're all amazing, but when I have teachers and students come up to me that they recognize Virtutem Populo or they've seen the work we're doing, that makes me really happy, and it lets me know that we're doing something good and to just keep that going.
Congratulations on your DSGA.
Thank you.
That was a really tough win. You had a lot of rigorous candidates.
Yep. It's a very contested position.
So how do you balance your school and your social life?
I guess first things first is my calendar. Like my phone, I'm always checking it because like right now I have an appointment at 5:30, which I'm running a little late to, but that's okay. But the point is that I have a calendar, so my calendar is always there. Everything gets inputted, and that's what keeps me on track. So for any students watching that don't have a calendar, I definitely recommend you get one. I use Apple Calendar, there's Google Calendar too, but just at least staying focused. A lot of students, they forget deadlines. Every time I have a test or anything, I put it on my phone. I make sure I know what's coming up. And I think that keeps me kind of as organized as I can.
I agree. Well, What happens to Virtutem Populo after you inevitably graduate next year?
That's the question, isn't it? And yeah, I mean, a lot of our team right now are juniors and seniors. So it's definitely something I've already been thinking about. I mean, I have 3 seniors this year who are graduating, who we'll be recognizing at our gala tomorrow. That's Matthew, Kenny, and Natalie, and they've been great. They're off to bigger and better things. And the rest of us mostly are all juniors. We have one sophomore on the team, and we actually have a middle schooler. He's going to 8th grade now, and he's next level. So yeah, I feel like as especially next year, I'll definitely focus more on recruiting and making sure we have a capable team of high schoolers and middle schoolers who are getting ready to continue to work. I mean, I'll still always be involved with Virtutem Populo. My heart will always be with it, but it's unrealistic. Like, I can't run everything from, if I do go out of town for college, I can't be constantly coming back and organizing these events. We're gonna have to have some new students. And now that I mentioned that, if there's anybody watching who wants to get more involved, follow us on Instagram at Virtutem_Populo, send us a DM, go to our website www.virtutempopulo.org, and reach out. And we're always looking for students to help and be part of the mission.
Follow-up question, what are your plans after high school?
That's also a good question. I mean, I don't know where I want to go. I mean, I can tell you where I want to go, but where I'm actually going to go, that would be a different story. I mean, I haven't applied yet. We'll have to see what acceptances come in. But definitely, like, my top 4 schools or top 5 are definitely Harvard, Yale, Georgetown, the University of Florida, or Florida State. So those are my top 5, and we'll see where life takes me. But one thing I know for sure is I want to study government and just try to live a life dedicated to public service.
What advice would you give to young people who are interested in becoming more civically engaged or starting their own initiatives?
I would say the number one piece of advice is get started. A lot of students say, "Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that," but they don't know how to start, or they'll say, "Oh, I need to actually sit down and work it out." But do it. Once you do it, you'll get that momentum, and you'll want to keep on going. And if you do need someone to reach out to, at Virtutem Populo, we offer services to help students do precisely that. So we actually have a grant program. That grant program is probably going to go live the first or second week of June, where we're going to be giving 5 mini grants to students who have their own passion projects. So if you have a passion project and you need some money to get it off the ground, Virtutem Populo, we have a grant program for that. But we also have our team members are ready to meet with you and help you with your ideas in case you want to get more civically engaged. You have an idea of a project you want to do to help your community, but you just don't know how to go about it. We can definitely try to connect those dots for you and help out in that way. But I guess the number one piece of advice is, make that phone call, send that first text, send that first email, whether it can be to us, send us a DM and we can help you out, or to a trusted adult, someone who you think can help you, or to another student, and reach out, be like, look, I want to get more involved. How can I do that? Or I have this project I want to work on. I have this great idea. How can we, get that to go forward?
Is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know about Virtutem Populo and how to get involved?
I guess the number one thing I would like everyone to know is that we're always looking for more folks to join our mission and be part of the movement. I really like to think of it as a movement. I feel like we've been able to do some great work in only 2.5, it'll be 3 years now in June since the founding of Virtutem Populo. So in 3 years, I think we've been able to do a great job. I have 1 more year left while I'm in high school, and we need new blood. We need motivated, young, ambitious leaders. So if you're listening and you feel like you meet that description, reach out to us. We definitely love to have you on our team.
It's been an honor to interview today, Maurits.
It's been my honor, Leah. Thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you for inviting me.
I think Leah's done a great job as our host today. We wanted to, flip the seat. So if you're watching and you're like, oh, I want to do a podcast takeover too. I want to host, I want to interview someone else. And maybe we can make this a series and we can bring on a new student to interview someone on our team. I think that's a great idea. But yeah, thanks for having me, Leah. It's a pleasure.
It was big shoes to fill. Makes me feel so important. The next Maurits.
You are important. And who knows? Maybe Leah will be leading the podcast one day. But yeah, it was great having you on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Feel free to follow us at Virtutem_Populo. And a big thank you to Mayor Manny Sid and the Miami Lakes Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Thank you.